And welcome to the DEFSEC 2023 podcast, sponsored by our good friends at Cisco. I'm Alan Dale. With me, as always, my good buddy Jerry Couillard, Gale Force Winds. George, it's great to have you back on the show. Day 2 at DEFSEC, a lot of excitement, a lot of things happening around your booth, one of the largest booths, certainly at DEFSEC this year. George, bring us up to speed a little bit about your technology and where you've come just since last year.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me here. We had a great chat last year, and I have a rare opportunity kind of conversing the start of the business, and we went through a little bit of the history. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the future. So in the last year has been another very hard year for generally the world. We know what's happening in the north and let's say east of Russia. There's a big challenging environment there. So this kind of opportunity in this kind of environment, everybody's trying to do their best to bring the best technologies that can provide an operational edge and provide support for our troops and the NATO forces. So we are here today showcasing some of these technologies and how we have developed and evolved those technologies in the last year. So I'm happy to kind of take some questions and go through some of the latest progress.
Well, let's talk about some of the tech. What are the new tech that's been created?
So once, if you look back about a year ago, we were showcasing the applications. So one of the big things that we have done as recently as last week, I was in Japan, and we announced a very large partnership with Panasonic Industry. So Panasonic is helping us produce our technologies now at very large scale. So kilometer roll-to-roll scale. Now this complements our existing roll-to-roll capabilities, adds very high quality, and because our technology is dual use, and we have automotive and consumer applications, cost is always a driver, and Panasonic is helping us basically solve some of the scale-up challenges that every company has. So one of the first milestones is basically getting the technology to work. The next one is to scale it. The next one is to integrate it. And right now, thanks to the Panasonic announcement and support, which has been ongoing for the last maybe 8 months or so, we have been, let's say, more than just producing, we have been feeding those technologies into the industry. So there's a lot of customer validation, or what we would call a beta or an alpha type of test, moving into commercial partnerships and beyond. So that's, let's say, the first bucket of maturity, let's say, as our business is moving ahead. The second bucket is what I did earlier today was basically around 11, I gave a talk. We have been teasing in the last 2 years of a new technology we call VLEPSIS. VLEPSIS is coming in 2024. We are launching it at the Dubai Air Show officially. And what we are doing is it's basically a revolutionary advance in persistent overhead surveillance. It has a superior area and resolution. It's a gigapixel camera, an EO camera without the IR for now. And what is capable of doing is seeing over a very large area on the ground. So think of this mounted on a drone or a helicopter, and as it hovers or flies on a short area, it can still see about 100+ square kilometer area on the ground with as high as 15 centimeter resolution on the ground. And if you can adjust your height, your altitude, you may compromise a little bit the surface area, but then you start increasing the resolution, and vice versa. If you fly a little bit higher, you can go up to 200 square kilometers. So at that kind of capability, you have incredible benefits. So you can monitor and basically the size of a small or medium city in real-time video persistently. And so within this area, you can monitor what we call the, let's say, facts of life, events of life. And this could be as simple as traffic, and you can create a smart city application where you can maybe one day solve the traffic in Toronto. Or you could use it for coastal erosion, for search and rescue. Imagine disaster relief, where, for example, we see what has happened the last few months with floods, fires, earthquakes around the world, and of course, border control, which in many cases is not wartime, but in the recent years, as we have all experienced, we have seen in some areas in the world that this kind of capability could give you an edge. Right. So we're excited about this technology. We have an AI software team right now working in Maryland that is adding not only the system level hardware, which is globally unique, completely ITAR free, so it's available for export, made in Canada. And the AI software piece that gives you basically the tool to search or apply your algorithm for things that float or things that are moving in from A to B, and basically because it's motion driven, even high speed motion could be determined with this system. That means that people smuggling things into countries with high speed boats that are almost not detectable, we can actually help detect them.
And how close is this product to going to market? How far are we back?
So we're going to be showcasing our 2 prototypes at the Dubai Air Show.
Okay.
Flight tests hopefully before the end of the year, and commercial production and availability next year.
Wow. How big a unit is this, George?
Great question. So this is where we have a big edge. So unlike commercially available whammy sensors, which are 150 kilograms plus, we've seen some that are as high as 250. Ours is less than 25. The size of our gimbal is a little bit larger than a basketball,
okay,
which means that you can mount it on very inexpensive platforms. So unlike our competitors who use a $20 million UAS, we can use as cheap as a $150,000 UAS, like it's 6 feet,
right,
and you can put it in the back of your F-150 if you desire.
Yeah, that's a game changer right there, right?
And there's more.
Yeah.
There's power consumption. So it's not just the consumption of weight and the payload. What we offer that's different, our competition is like 3, 4, 5 kilowatts of use.
Right.
We are at 500 watts.
Wow.
And our first system is 1.8 gigapixel. Has never been done before. And just to give you an analogy, there is a very large camera system that's developed by the US government to take 3.2 gigapixel images, not video, and that is the size of a car. And of course it just takes still images, where you can think of ours as a Google Earth Live in some ways.
Right.
So we don't even know how far these applications can go. We can only imagine the possibilities here. We're still early stage in the deployment, but we are excited because there are some very large partners that are now coming around us, and we are excited to make future announcements of who are those partners and what they bring to the table.
George, there's got to be an opportunity in data management if you're creating this much data. Talk about that.
Yeah, so this much data, we actually have calculated how much is this much. So I want to kind of take a step back. So this gigapixel camera is a ginormous big data generator. So how we can define that? So when you look at the sensor on an 8-hour or let's say a day operation, a single sensor will generate 20 terabytes of data, compressed video data. Uncompressed, that we're looking at about a petabyte. To put that in context, the entire Twitterverse, or now it's called X, would generate roughly 12 terabytes of data per day for the entire Twitter. So one of our sensors would be significantly larger than that.
Wow.
And if you take 1,000 of our systems and you had them around, in about 5 years, we would be generating roughly 36 exabytes of data, which is roughly, if my calculations are correct, about 25% of the total Amazon Web Service current space globally. Now, this is a big data problem, but with this kind of data, you can start thinking about how can you use and offer data analytics as a layer. And so if you remember a few months or maybe more than a year ago, there was massive container ships that couldn't deliver their cargo, parked outside Shanghai and even in around Texas. So the big ports had congestion problems. And of course, when you have big ships and you have to navigate them, we offer like 3-meter accuracy on the ground, but we can go down to centimeters if needed. So we see our application helping congestion, basically reduction in smart ports, allowing basically the port authorities to manage that situation. But then smart cities comes in mind, even autonomous vehicles, which right now are navigating by themselves with very high-powered computers on the cars. Imagine if you had on top, let's say, an angel that can help you avoid maybe car accidents or watch out of those blind spots that unfortunately they still exist today, no matter how many cameras you put on a car.
It's like an AWACS over top of everything. Yeah.
Yes, but it will only follow the right things. And I don't want to give the impression that we're creating Big Brother here. So the idea here is that how do we deal in big events, imagine the Olympics or the World Series, where there's massive amounts of people coming into one place. Some people will avoid they would leave their own city during those periods of time just to feel safe. So that level of safety, being able to feel and sleep at night, comes at a high cost. Over the last couple of decades, we have seen what has happened around the world, and especially now where the world is not, let's say, working at its best. I think this kind of technology can help bring value.
George, I want to talk a little bit about DEFSEC. DEFSEC, great show year after year, getting bigger every year. Was DEFSEC a good show for you?
Yes, so DEFSEC has been, this is our home ground. So one of the things that's exciting here is that because it's not a massive show like the Paris Air Show or the Farnborough Air Show and a few others, you can have meaningful discussions on a one-to-one basis that are much higher quality than they are in the bigger shows where everybody's running around. They have 10 minutes, and the moment you are 5 minutes behind schedule, that's it. You have lost the entire schedule. So here we have a big presence. Like I said, it's our home ground. We have had some incredible discussions. One of the things that is so special about DEFSEC is there's a very large number of exhibitors, small and medium enterprises around the Atlantic ecosystem. And what it does, it helps showcase what's coming out of Atlantic Canada, which is an incredible time to be basically in this industry. So we're very fortunate and thankful for the partnership with Colin and the team at DEFSEC.
George, there'd be people all over the world would struggle to get a few minutes of your time, and here you are, stood at DEFSEC at your own booth. Home team advantage being at DEFSEC, certainly for the people in the room. I have to tell you, we're very, very proud of what you're doing. We're very, very proud that you're doing it right here in Atlantic Canada. Thank you very much for everything you do.
Thank you, and maybe the next one would love to invite you at our home office across the bay.
We'll be there.
Thank you.
Sure.